Hello everyone and welcome to a Legends of Runeterra guide. This is mostly going to be focused on extremely new players, learning how to manage like the UI, as well as some cool features that you may or may not know about. After I go over that, I will get into a game so you can see what a typical game in like a mid-high elo-ish uh, might play out. So the first thing that you should know is the collection. When you click collection, there are 6 different options off to the left that you can look at. You can look at your decks. These are decks that I've previously created. There are 30 deck slots that you can use. I try and not go above 12 because after I get past, this line here, um, I just kind of lose track and it gets all jumbled and messy and I can't remember where anything is. So I try and keep it around 12, but you can go up to 30. If you click cards, you can find all of your cards and you can also craft new cards on this section. If you're interested in crafting a new card, you would click show unowned. And then now you could find cards that you don't own. So for example, if I wanted to craft Shyvana, I would click Shyvana. Sorry, right click Shyvana. And I can craft it here. This is where you'd use wildcards. I don't have any champion wildcards at the moment. Or you could use gems, which are earned in-game from having duplicates in what we'll call packs, for lack of a better word. And lastly, these coins, these are the real money currency that you could use. It turns out, each one of these coins is essentially worth a penny. So a champion card, the highest class of card, costs about $3, right? So you could just buy a wild card for about $3. All right, so that's how that kind of works out. That's how crafting works. Boards, if you want to change what your board looks like, you could purchase boards. Guardians, these pop up next to your board. They're just so cute. They have different interactions if you click on them. Card backs you should be familiar with, as well as emotes for if you need to flex or show you're confused, or if your mind gets blown. That's what that is for. So that's how the collection page works. The rewards are the reward tracks or reward roads for each region. When you start off, there'll be a prologue that's just jam-packed with rewards, trying to get you hooked. But then there are other reward tracks for each region. So for example, if you're really interested in playing Demacia, you could click on the Demacia region and start earning rewards or packs that have only Demacia cards in them. If you get a repeat in your pack, that's when they will turn into gems. It'll happen automatically, and you can't disenchant anything, right? Disenchanting doesn't exist in this game, right? You'll just get gems for duplicates. So that's how the rewards work. You unlock these rewards by earning XP at the end of each game or by accomplishing quests. You can find your quests at the top of the screen in the double scroll icon. If you click it, it'll open it up. It'll tell you what your daily quests are. You can click the die and then click the quest you want to reroll if you're interested in rerolling. And it will also tell you how much bonus XP you'll get for playing a PvP game. I believe the first game gives you 400, the second game will give you plus 200, and after the third game, it'll give you plus 100, and then after that, you just get standard XP gain. So if you play 3 games a day, if you win 3 games a day, you should be finding yourself going through these reward regions very quickly. The most common piece of advice you will hear is to level these up in increments of 4 if you kind of want to maximize how quickly you get as many cards as possible. So for example, if you start Noxus, level that up to 4, maybe then move down to Targon, get that to 4, then Bilgewater, and so on. Then recomplete them all, maybe go to 8 on Noxus, 8 on Targon, and so on and so forth. But really, it's up to you and how you want to play your game. Lastly, we have the store icon. This is where you can, spend money on card backs or little legends. You could buy bundles, so you could buy decks as well as card backs and some emotes. The bundles, with the exception of the starter bundle and like actual decks, it's cheaper to buy the actual card. So buying the deck or a starter bundle, good to go. If you're only interested in cards, don't buy these bundles, right? Because it's including the price of the little legend and all the emotes and stuff in them. So starter bundle, pretty good value. I know I picked it up. I think it was like $5 for 66 cards. That seemed worth it for me. So yeah. When you go to make a deck in your collection, you click new deck. It just shows you every card you own in your collection. A deck is made out of 1 or 2 regions. You could have a Targon Demacia deck. You could have a Targon Failure deck, but you cannot have a Targon Demacia Failure deck unless they're doing like I think they called it a Tavern Brawl in Hearthstone, like where they have weird rules. So you could have a 1 region deck or 2 region deck, but not a 3 region deck. So if you wanted a Failure or Ionia deck, you'd click those 2, and then click the cards you want in your deck. To remove them, you'll click them out. One cool thing about Legends of Runeterra is that you can only have 6 champion cards in a deck. You can only have 6 champion cards. So I could have 3 Ashe, I could have 3 Zed, but I can't add any more. Right? It'll let me temporarily put them in just to like look at it, see what it looks like. But this deck will be invalid, as you can see. At the bottom, there's a red number here. It's kind of blocked. That means that the deck is invalid. Each deck has 40 cards, no more, no less. So that's just kind of how the deck building process works. All right, so that's kind of the very basics. I'll take you into a game. I'm going to play a deck of mid-range Frostbite. All right, so let me go and play a game. Normal, mid-range Frostbite. All right, queue times are usually less than 10 seconds. So the deck I'm playing, the goal is to play a bunch of big dudes and freeze, meaning set their attack to 0, the opponents. Just like in Hearthstone, you generally want to play on a curve, but this game well, that was unexpected. So there you have it. I won. While that was unfortunate that they just surrendered immediately, you can see I got the daily PvP win bonus anyway. You do not gain rank points if that was a ranked game. I would still get the XP, but I wouldn't rank up based off of that. If you quit a game early, though, you will lose your rank points, so don't do that. All right. Here we are. So we're going against the deck with Ashe and Tahm Kench. Our deck, as we said, our goal is to play a bunch of big dudes while being able to frostbite or freeze the opponent's deck. Just like in Hearthstone, you want to be able to play on a curve. Although you'll notice that there's mana off to the side, but there's also spell mana. If you've played the tutorial, you will have learned what spell mana is used for. That's for casting spells. You can kind of bank mana. Here, I'll bank this 1 mana here. Alright, turns ended. That 1 mana I had in this bar is now occupying one of these slots. So go ahead, play a card. If you right click on a card, it will bring up a bigger version. He's frostbitten, so now he has 0 attack. I could attack if I wanted to. I don't have a reason to, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass. So he didn't attack there, I'm assuming, because I could trade into any of his attackers or draw a card if he were to die. Last Breath is the same as Death Rattle. So I'm just go out. I'm gonna play my champion so you get to see what that looks like. Ash's abilities, when I attack, I frostbite the strongest enemy. Strongest means highest power. If there's a tie, it's broken by HP. So I could go ahead and attack with Ash. That'd be actually really terrible. So if I attack with Ash, Tahm Kench would get frostbitten. But he could block it with one of these two. So that is not optimal for me. They just seem to be in quite a bit of danger of just kind of losing the game pretty much straight up. So Tahm Kench is a really cool card because he can eat enemy units.
Winter is the Freljord's true ruler.
And by eating enemy units, he temporarily removes them from play. If he levels up, they're obliterated, which means they're gone. They cannot be revived.
Our strength is yours.
So I played this guy here just because he's going to deny my Ash from getting frostbitten next turn by Tahm Kench. He's the only reason.
Ice runs in our veins.
Appetizers of plenty. It can't be.
So here's actually going to be a weird interaction.
Excuse my impertinence.
When Tahm Kench, or when a unit is removed from the board, when they re-enter the board, it's like it's being a brand new version of it. So I think, yep, there we go. I just got his effect again.
Faster than my
It's
arrow.
pretty nice, I must say.
As the arrow flies.
Hot on the trail.
Alright, so I've leftover mana for what's called a combat trick. A lot of these spells or interactions in Legends of Runeterra revolve around manipulating combat. So instead of letting my Ash die, I'm going to give an ally +0/+2 to give an enemy -2 attack. Right? So I give Ash +2, and I give an enemy -2. I'm going to just keep Ash super safe. Right, so now Ash will live. Cool feature is that if you hit the eye, it'll tell you the outcome of what's currently happening.
Sends chills up my spine.
You can't summon a champion if you have that same exact champion out on the board. Instead, it'll turn into their champion spell. I'm just going to pass here.
Bring me the calm of an ice-shrouded world.
You can see the Demacian border from here.
The frost reveals all to me. I'll lead us to victory.
Every champion in the game can level up if they meet a certain condition. Ashe is frostbiting 5 enemies. That's the condition for Ashe.
Our banner will lead the way for the homestead. Safeguard our homes.
So here's what Ashe leveled up does. She gets bonus stats, and she can't. She makes enemies with 0 power unable to block.
These are our lands.
I want to keep these alive only because they put some pressure on his board. So these two will draw for me, which is nice.
Alert the village. Many tribes under one banner. Behind you, a Yeti! Yetis? There's no such thing.
Here's, in my opinion, one of the coolest cards in the deck I'm currently running. When I'm summoned, draw 1 for every 5+ power, 5 or higher power ally you have. It's really nice in this deck, especially because she counts as one of these conditions.
This is the power of an Iceborn.
Alright, so now due to that card's effect, my whole board is stunned. Or I shouldn't say stunned, I should say frostbitten and unable to block. So I'm just trying to survive. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do so.
The true Fagiodian welcome.
Because remember, Ashe will still frostbite when she attacks. So here's a interesting interaction. I can frostbite Ashe here. Now my Ashe is going to level up, and she's going to gain 1 attack. Because champions, when they level up, pretty much all of them will gain an attack. So now Ashe is now able to block. I get to feel pretty good about myself.
Continue without me.
Alright. I almost made a big mistake. Alright, so I'm just going to pass. And now I have the opportunity to do the same thing to him what he just did to me. Just make all his things not be able to block.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
Let's see if he can survive like I was able to.
Frost reveals all to me.
So I'll play the Crystal Arrow, frostbite an enemy, and all other enemies with 3 or less health.
A gift from Avarosa.
Draws a card as well. He might surrender here because I have such a sizable lead.
We fight for one Freljord.
All right, I was just gonna show you this interaction but he kind of did it for you. If you can have as many as 6 units on the board at once. If you want to play a unit anyway, you can, but you have to sacrifice a previous unit. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice my Yeti to play this thing, which draws a card for each 5+ power ally I have.
Many tribes under one banner.
Alright, and he surrendered because he knew he wasn't going to be able to survive that turn. After you get your nice victory screen,
Rise.
you can see my DOE PvP bonus was only plus 200 this time, which is fine, but because I still got the match reward, I hit continue, and there we go. That is Legends of Runeterra. They have a variety of different game modes. They have the versus AI if you don't want to play against people. They have expeditions, which are the Legends of Runeterra version of Arena. There are challenges. These are tutorials, so give you XP if you do them. So I would recommend you go do it. Gauntlet is essentially the Tavern Brawl. This could help earn your way into the professional tournaments as well. Speaking of the tournament, this is new. It's starting in 3 days. If you're a top 700 Masters player, you automatically qualify, or you could earn your way in through the gauntlets if you do well enough. And lastly, labs. This is most similar to the Tavern Brawl, making decks with weird restrictions. Kind of changes up the game. It's pretty fun. But if you're hyper competitive and didn't like Tavern Brawl, you probably won't like the labs. But if you love the Tavern Brawl, this is the mode for you. All right. If you have any questions about the game, feel free to leave a comment in the section below, or catch me live at twitch.tv/xdoinut.